So, you know how you say that you're lucky that um, you know, come from the right culture, meet the right person, you have the right temperament, and then you have the right stage. So, you know, you have like, when you're with your teacher, you have these other friends who have very like worldly occupation or lots of other things. So each of us on the path travel different distance. So how is it? I mean, I don't know what's my question, but if it not reaching this very intense path, like the distance that you have traveled, if they stop at some point for example, your friends, they spend all this year with a teacher, and then they have this kind of very physical life. So what does this whole experience I don't know, you know.
So, again, I don't claim to understand your question, nor do I claim to know what the heck I'm going to talk about, but so Hussein runs into Hussein in Reno, in the casino. Hussein tells Hussein or asks, where do you live? Sacramento. Hussein asks Hussein, where do you live? Sacramento. Well, what do you do in Sacramento? I work for AT&T. What do you do? I have a shop, a market. What market? Persian market. Really? I'll come visit you. Okay. The first gathering, he hears a voice telling him, follow this man. He knows things. And he does for the next few years. He was truly devoted to this man. He also had a physical life outside of Hussein, which was he was married, had children. He didn't speak the same language with his wife or with his kids. His physical life usually got in the way. His wife would spend money too much. His kids would come home late. A disagreement would turn into a fight, sometimes at 3 in the morning, when he would wake up to pray. And when you have a fight about turning off the TV and going to bed, whatever desires you had about praying, meditating, understanding, reading, they all vanish. you know, it's kind of like a butterfly. If you want to pick up first you shouldn't pick up a butterfly because the oil of your fingers will destroy the butterfly's wings and then he can't fly. But if you want to pick up the butterfly, you should do it very gently. It is because it's a very gentle creature. It'll kind of get demolished very quickly. So Hussein would have these experiences. They were like butterfly, but life was like a hammer. Your house is a mess, and that is a mess. This is a mess. And before you know it, you can't pray when you're angry. You can't sit and meditate when you're like want to slit someone's throat. And so his physical life, the issues became so much that he just got tired. He was worn out. There is a in one of the books written by Carlos Castaneda, I'm not quite sure which one, but he tells the story of Don Juan telling Carlos that he has to go back to his life where he was in a relationship with 3 different women at 3 different stages in his life. And he wronged all 3 of them. And he needs to go back and right all the wrongs. And so he runs into the second or third one. He hires a detective to figure out where these people live. And so when he goes into this woman's house, she says, "Oh, what are you doing here? I'm married, I have children. You can't be here." He says, "My husband," she says to Carlos, says, "My husband's a really good man." After the 3rd child, he just had no energy left inside him. He just goes to work to pay the bills. He comes home and he just sleeps all day. You know. And the point I'm trying to make is, whatever passions you have, you want to write, you want to dance, you want to travel. Let's just say, God forbid, your mother gets really, really sick. And you need to pay attention to her 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. What's going to happen to your relationship? What's going to happen to your job? What's going to happen to your teaching career? Everything will be destroyed. Unless you just don't like your mom and you don't care. But given that you do love your mom and you do care for her, the truth is you're going to kind of serve her and get rid of all this other stuff. And that's what it was like for him, for Hussein. Eventually life stole his passion. The other one, Mehrdad. You know, you have 1 kid, then you have 2 kids, then you have 3 kids, then you have 4 kids, then you work for the state. Crappy job. You know. Well, how much can you endure? You come home with what capacity, what energy? Nothing is left inside you. I mean, look, you work 5 days a week, from 9 to about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and you are glued to the monitor. You know, you start your day fresh, as Khayyam would say, پاک از عدم آمدیم و ناپاک شدیم آسوده برآمدیم و غمناک شدیم. And you wake up fresh. By the time it's 4 o'clock, you're exhausted. You woke up innocent, clean. 4 o'clock, you're dirty. You know. And then you want to read perhaps a little, you want to write a little. You have no energy. And then even if you tend to do schoolwork, well, you have students who have these ridiculous requests. Add to it, you have to sit there and grade these ridiculous essays. When do you have time to attend to anything? So you say, okay, well, the weekend. Well, the weekend comes when you're in a relationship. Okay, so you say, I can't see you this weekend. How about the next weekend? And you're going to feel bad for not seeing him. You know, you do this for another 5, 6 years, there'll be nothing left inside you. And that's just life. You know, that's one of the things that, you know, good teachers do. And by good teachers, I mean people like Bai Sahib, people like Jesus Christ, if he ever existed, is that they break you in such a way that nothing and no one can put you back together. And when you're broken, your sorrow is always going to remain. It's always going to remind you. It's always going to make you feel bad and guilty. I mean, consider her friend William at American River College. you know, being exposed to fourth way school. That's a great set of philosophies. So you become the chair, you get engaged in the ridiculous business of academia. The rest is just nonsense. You know, I want to create classes. No one is exempt from becoming contaminated. You know, I go to the curriculum committee. They harass me. I harass them. I leave angry. Then I go on this research to figure out what schools offer what classes in philosophy. Then I have to like put this list together, send them to different people. Then I get ridiculous replies, and I have to reply to those people. Everybody just gets engaged in these ridiculous activities, and before you know it, you're like 90 years old. You look back and you say, really? What a waste of time this was. You know, I mean, I shared this with you, perhaps, that my brother is in the curriculum committee. There are these like people with PhDs who've been teaching for a long, long time. They sit there fight as to whether it should be a comma or a period for like 3 hours. Who does that? Stupid people. It's called education. I mean, look at what she does sometimes. Today we're going to do SLOs, tomorrow PLOs, day after tomorrow ILOs, day after tomorrow CLOs. There is no end to the absurdity. You know, Socrates and Plato, they're very lucky that they died not to see philosophy departments across the world. Because I'm sure if Socrates was alive in the 21st century, with all the ILOs and PLOs and SLOs, he would probably have a million followers, because he would know exactly what SLO to use and how to use it to inspire people. You know, I teach New Testament. I have SLOs. Only if Jesus had access to them, he wouldn't have been crucified.